Hi everyone, it's Miss Heath here again, and I'll be talking to you guys more about text structure in these next few lessons. And so each day we're going to talk about a different text structure. Today we're going to be focusing on the text structure description. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys to show you the slides. So we can get started. All right, so as you know, we started our new unit of study, Reading the Weather, Reading the World. And in the last couple lessons, we learned about text features. And in the last lesson, we learned about text structure. And we learned about how we can identify those text structures with different keywords. So today, now that you know how to identify them, we're going to really look at each one of the text structures in depth. And I'm going to show you not only how to identify them, but also how to take note on them. Because at some point in this unit, we do a research project, and you're going to have to learn how to take notes on nonfiction text. So that's what I'm going to be showing you today. So today's teaching point is that we can learn from nonfiction text by identifying the text structure description. So our focus today is description. And you might remember from the last lesson that description is literally describing something, a nonfiction text about a certain thing that it teaches you about. So some signal words that you might see in description text are things like such as, for instance, in addition, also, specifically. And a tip to keep in mind, you should ask yourself what specific person, place, thing, or idea is being described. And that's really what it's all about. What's the topic of that passage? And you want to look for a topic word or phrase and for synonyms that they use. And synonym is just other words that mean the same thing as that topic. So we're going to take a look at a description piece here. And I'm going to read it to you. I want you to be really listening closely to see, can you pick out what this passage is about? What's the topic? What's it all about? And also think about what makes this text structure a description piece. What is it describing, and how do we know it's describing something? So here we go. Labrador Retrievers are a popular breed of dogs because of their even temperament and desire to please their human owners. Labrador Retrievers can be yellow, brown, or black. They are medium large dogs with an average weight of 65 pounds. Oops, I accidentally put weight twice. Labrador Retrievers are often trained to be aids for people with disabilities. According to the American Kennel Club, Labrador Retrievers are the most popular dog breed in the United States. All right. So obviously the author here has a purpose of teaching us about a certain topic. So remember, yes, we want to identify the text structure, and I told you it's description, but why is it organized this way? What is the author trying to teach us in this passage? So if you might be thinking, well, this passage seems to be all about Labrador retrievers. It's actually repeated, I think, like 3 or 4 times. So I think it's pretty obvious what this passage is all about. It's all about Labrador retrievers. Now I'm going to show you how I annotated my notes or highlighted things that I thought were important for that note-taking piece. How would I take notes on a description text structure? And what keywords in this passage helped me realize that this was text structure of description. So I highlighted what I think this passage is all about, and it's all about Labrador retrievers because as you can see, the author wrote it 4 times in this passage. Also, I highlighted information that I learned by reading this passage about Labrador retrievers. So when you take notes for a description text, most often you might use boxes and bullets or some type of note-taking web. So I decided to do a web. So here is what the web looks like for note-taking. And we're going to complete this graphic organizer to take notes on that text that I just read. So I'm going to make it smaller because as you guys know, you can't type in a slide when it's in present mode. So I'm going to first look at the center. What was this text all about? And as you guys can see, this was all about Labrador retrievers. So in that center part of the web, I'm going to type Labrador retrievers. And that's what this text was all about. Okay. Now, what were some things that we learned about Labrador retrievers by reading this text? So I'm going to go back into the text and see. So I learned that Labrador retrievers have an even temperament and they have a desire to please their humans. So I would jot this down in a notebook if I were writing it, but since I'm on a computer, I'm just going to highlight and copy that and put that in my notes. And one cool thing about notes is that we don't really need to worry about writing complete sentences. It's okay to just like jot a note and have it, not be a complete sentence because it's just like a quick thought, something that you learned. It doesn't have to be complete sentences. Okay, so it didn't fit perfectly in there, but that's okay. That's okay. All right, so another thing I learned about Labrador retrievers is that they can be some different colors. I learned that they can be yellow, they can be brown, or black. So that's something else I learned from reading this nonfiction piece. And so I'm going to put that in another section of my web. I actually kind of like it highlighted. I'm going to highlight this one back. I like the yellow. You can see it a little better. Yeah. All right, so notice how with the web, what's in the center is what the topic is, what is this piece all about, and then on the little arms of the web, you get to put in information you learned. So what else did we learn about Labrador retrievers? Well, it did talk about their size and weight. So we could say that another thing we learned that they're a medium large size dog. And they also said that it can have a weight of 65 pounds. So I'll just put that in another one. Sometimes I'm stretching the text box so it fits a little bit better. So you guys might have to do that when you do your own. It's not too hard. All right, what else did we learn about Labrador retrievers? They're often trained to be aids for people with disabilities. So I'm going to take that, put that in my notes. And so you guys would be just typing this. I'm just copying, pasting to make it a little quicker so that this lesson isn't too long for you guys. Otherwise, I'd be sitting here typing everything. So you're going to be typing, but it's just a quick copy and paste for me here. And then the last thing I learned about Labrador retrievers is that they're actually the most popular dog breed in the United States, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to put that in my notes as well to make it fit a little better. There we go. So again, when you guys are writing in your own web, it's okay if the notes go outside of the bubble a little bit. It's not a big deal. And if you prefer to do boxes and bullets when you take notes, that's not a bad way to take notes either. But with description, I typically like to do the web just because I like that the topic is right in the center. I know what I learned about, and then I can easily see all the things that I learned from reading the text. These were all the facts that we learned that the author was trying to teach us about Labrador retrievers. See how I did that? How I found the topic by seeing what was repeated throughout the book, at the text, and how they kept telling me more facts about that one thing. That's how I know that this was a description text. So the thing that was kind of missing here a little bit was those description signal words. I didn't see too many in here, but I could tell that this was description because it was teaching me about that one thing. It was giving me lots and lots of facts. All right, readers. So today you are going to be doing a little assignment that's attached to this lesson, and you're going to read a nonfiction text. That's a description piece, and you're going to complete a graphic organizer just like we did together here. That's a web. and you're going to put the topic, what you learned about, and all the facts you learned. I'm going to ask that you do at least 3 bubbles. If you want to do more, of course, you can do more, but at least fill in 3 bubbles for your text that you're reading for your assignment. And then you're going to read for your 30 minutes of independent reading of a nonfiction book. Remember, we're reading nonfiction for this unit. And your focus today is thinking about how you can identify that text structure description in your nonfiction books. See if you can find those signal words that let you know it's teaching you about something. Maybe it's teaching you about elephants. Maybe you're reading a book about elephants, or maybe it's teaching you about tornadoes. Maybe you're reading a book about tornadoes. And remember that nonfiction books can have more than one text structure. So maybe one page is a compare and contrast of hurricanes and tornadoes, but then maybe the next page is just all about tornadoes. So make sure you're aware that sometimes it might teach you different text structures. They might be in there. So, all right, happy reading. Enjoy reading your nonfiction, and I will see you guys next time to teach you about another text structure.